What is up, guys? It's your boy Nathan. We have UFC 271 with a rematch between the Oceanic Giants. Bobby Knuckles, Robert Whittaker, looks to get his belt back from the only person he has lost in the middleweight division, reigning defending champion, the last style bender, Israel Adesanya. Let's get into the fights. We have King Bobby Green taking on Nasrat Hakparast. Uh, Bobby Green, tough veteran of the game. He's fought the who's who in the lightweight division, always a gamer, puts on fantastic fights, wars most of the time. He's taking on Nasrat Hakparast, who's 2-2 in his last 4, 5-3 overall in the UFC. He's coming off of a decision loss to Dan Hooker. There was a lot of extenuating circumstances in that fight, a lot of last minute haggling. Corona made it difficult for Hakparast to also get in. They didn't know if he was going to get the fight and all. All in all, they have proper training camps, both of them, and it looks like this is going to be a very fun fight. I think it's going to be a war, quite honestly. And I think Bobby Green, he has fought the more seasoned fighters overall along his career. And I think he'll have just enough what it takes to make this a bloody war. And I think Bobby Green wins with a decision. Then we have Marcelo Rojo taking on Kyler Phillips. And Kyler Phillips is a tough one. He's a fantastic bantamweight. He's 3-1 in the UFC. And he's coming off of a loss to Raulian Paiva, who just recently fought Sean O'Malley. So he's somewhere in the top 20, top 15, top 20 of the bantamweights. And he's taking on Marcelo Rojo, who's 0-1 in the UFC. He's coming off of a KO loss. I think this is a bounce back fight for Kyler Phillips because I think the UFC is quite high on him, quite high on his in his promise. And I think he's going to have a good showing, and I think it's going to be a decision. I think he's going to show a more well-rounded game. He might get the finish, but it's most likely Kyler Phillips by decision. We have third place, Jared Cannonier, taking on fifth place, Derek Brunson. Cannonier 4-1 in his last 5, with the only loss to the main eventer, Robert Whittaker, in what was the title eliminator fight at the time. He's taking on Derek Brunson, 23-7, 5-fight win streak, a resurgence late in his late 30s. He's been adding wrestling to his game, and he showed a more well-rounded game as of late. And if Jared Cannonier wins this fight, he probably is next to fight Israel Adesanya. Whereas Derek Brunson, if he does win this fight, he might not get it, especially based on Sean Strickland's performance and the fact that Israel has already beaten him once convincingly. So it's a really tough spot to be in. We don't really know. I think if Jared Cannonier wins, he probably gets the next title fight because of his ranking and the fact that he hasn't fought Israel yet. And I think he also has the KO power, and I think if he uses his wrestling in defense enough, I think he can keep him up, and I think he has the power to definitely knock out Derek Brunson. He used to be a UFC heavyweight, and I think that's what it's going to go. I think he's going to put it in reverse. I think he's going to clip Derek Brunson and put him away. I say Jared Cannonier, second round KO. I have number 3 in the world, Derrick Lewis, coming back home to Houston again in short order, taking on another person in short order, 11th ranked Tai Tuivasa. Tai Tuivasa is 13-3. He's 7-3 in the UFC with 6 KOs. Derrick Lewis is 26-8. He has the most KOs in the UFC. He's 26-8 overall. And this is going to be a slugfest. This is going to be a war. Someone is going to get knocked out. I love Tai Bam Tuivasa. I really do, and I really hope. My scenario would be he gets the win, but I think Derrick Lewis might be just too good for him, and I think he might even have more power than he does. And you don't back against Derrick Lewis in a slugfest, and I think that's what it's going to be. So I'm going to go by Derrick Lewis KO. We have the main event with the UFC middleweight title on the line. We have the last style bender, the Black Kiwi, Israel Adesanya, 21-1, undefeated as a middleweight, taking on Bobby Knuckles, the Reaper from Australia, Robert Whittaker, 23-5 overall. His only middleweight loss is to Israel Adesanya. He's I think 12-1 in his last 13, and it's going to be a tight fight. Israel obviously won the first fight, I think in second round TKO fashion. I think Robert Whittaker had a lot of pressure on him. It was in his backyard in Australia. About 55,000 people in the stadium. There was a lot of pressure on his back, and Of course, he didn't have enough time to implement his game plan. Of course, that being said, he came back, 3-fight win streak, very convincing, knocked out all the contenders, showed that he is one, if not the second best. If he's not the best middleweight, he's definitely the second best. I think him and Adesanya are the best two middleweights in the division anyway. So this is going to be a fantastic fight, a great showing by both of them. I expect Israel Adesanya to edge it out through a gritty war or maybe a late finish. But I think Robert Whittaker is going to make a lot of differences in his game plan. I think he's going to use wrestling more this game plan. I think he's going to be more relaxed in a neutral environment, and I think it's going to be a fun fight. And I think Israel Adesanya just narrowly gets the win via decision. I think and still UFC middleweight champion, style bender, Israel Adesanya. If you like this video, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.